Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Laundry Mixtape Series, where we bring an artist or a music lover once a month to my room or my house, or I come to you. Honestly, it's just a show every month highlighting the diversity of music and the accessibility of music in the Northern California area. Today we have Annamarie Arai, who lives with me. So she knows all about the laundry room that we have. She will be playing 3 pieces for you today, and her background is in classical violin at UCLA for undergrad and SF Conservatory for master's overgrad. So so here she is. She will be explaining the pieces between, and then we'll have an interview afterwards. And if you want to perform or just share your mixtape, please contact and we can get you on. But for now, here's Annamarie.
So the first piece that I'm going to play for you... Oh, first of all, thanks for having me, Leanne. Yeah. Go way back. Okay, the first piece that I'm going to play is written by a really good friend of mine who's a pianist and composer in the Bay, Eric Tran. He is, a good friend, and we graduated together from the conservatory. And this piece is called Prelude, and it's for solo violin, and he actually wrote it for me, and it was the best Christmas present ever. He sent it to me in an email, and I was like, what? I started playing it from my computer, and I thought it was so cool. It's about water, and it's about the 3 stages of water. So you'll hear how it transitions and goes from solid, so water is like ice, and then into liquid form, and then as vapor. And I'm really impressed with how he wrote it so well for violin, since he is a pianist, and everything fits really well in the hand, and it's really cool. There's this crazy pizz, which means plucking. Pizzicato means plucking in Italian. There's this crazy plucking section at the very end. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so the next piece that I'm gonna play is this pretty huge. It's like a really big go-to piece within the standard classical violin repertoire. But I'm only gonna play the exposition of this concerto by Tchaikovsky. The exposition is just the beginning theme, two themes actually. It's super romantic. This piece was written like during the height of the Romantic era in the 19th century. It's just lovely and very fun, really hard, and it's a continual work in progress that I'll be working on till I die. And just some kind of fun facts about it. So it's one of the probably top 3 most difficult but also most famous, I'd say, concerti, one of the most famous concerti within the violin repertoire, along with Brahms and Sibelius's concertos for the violin. And what's interesting about it, though, is that it's really come a long way in the past 300 years, because at its premiere, it was a huge flop, and there was like this horrible review written about it because the violinist was able to do it pretty well, but he wasn't able to rehearse with the orchestra that much, I think. So, but since then, it's just become so famous as this amazing piece of, this amazing composition. So, hope you guys enjoy it. And, I also don't have an orchestra to work with, so, you guys should check out legit recordings of it with an orchestra. Really adds to it. Okay, this is Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto, just the exposition of the first movement. Oof. Okay, so now I'm gonna slow it down quite a bit, and here is another piece by a very famous composer, whom I think really a lot of violinists would say is one of the best composers. Period, but also for violin. This is by Johann Sebastian Bach, who wrote 6 partitas and sonatas, so 3 partitas and 3 sonatas for solo violin in the 17th century, and it's just, they're all really amazing in the, just how much, Bach is known for being able to, his harmony in all of the different voices that he'll layer on top of each other. That's what he's really known for in all of his compositions, like in all of his music, from like choral pieces to organ to then solo violin. Like this tiny little wooden box just has 4 strings, but he's able to make it sound like multiple players are playing on it. That's what makes it really hard too. Anyway, I'm gonna play my favorite movement out of all of his sonatas and partitas, which is the Largo from his 3rd sonata in C major. And this is it's called Largo, and it's very slow and intimate and beautiful. And one of my teachers once said that this is like wedding ceremony music, and then the movement that comes right after it is like this hoedown wedding reception music. And everybody loves the reception part of the wedding, probably more than the ceremony, but this is still, I think, one of the most amazing pieces written for the violin. So I hope you enjoy it. It's also a work in progress.
Anna about music stuff.
Difficult questions?
No.
Oh.
I guess
Good.
the first one could be like, why the violin? Why? How did you start? The
I
easy
wish,
stuff.
yeah, I wish there was a cooler answer. Well, in some ways it's cute. My two older sisters, I have three sisters, and we all play violin. Actually, like, I love playing with them. It's really fun. And we branched out and can play a little guitar and mandolin, and well, they can. Yeah, I mainly stick to violin. But my two older sisters had started before me, and they were my heroes, and so I wanted to be just like them. I was 4; I didn't know any better. I guess at the end of the day, I'm glad that I'm glad that I did choose it, because the repertoire is just so good for it. And yeah, and so then I hated it for a while, and then are you talking about like why I chose to keep playing it too? Yeah, I had that like definite stage where I just like didn't want to play at all anymore. But I don't know, I'd just been used to doing it every day for so long. It was just something I couldn't give it up. And then in high school, I started playing with a piano quintet, and so that's a string quartet with piano, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun playing with other high schoolers who liked playing, and it was way more fun than just being holed up in a room by myself. So then when I was deciding, like, oh, what do I want to study in college, I was kind of sick of just like academics, and wanted to just get better at like and be really focused about it. And yeah, I had no idea what like that meant career wise. I just knew I wanted to keep playing and becoming better. And yeah, it grew into this like definite passion.
Yay! Going more on the technical side,
Yeah.
how do you really approach pieces now? Because like the way before you were explaining at UCLA, the way you played was very like technical. You were focusing on how you played, but not the entire emotion or how you listened to it. And now, after having gone through a master's program and everything, you find it more smoother and like it seems like you're looking at pieces as a bigger picture. So how did that change? Like, how do you approach pieces now as you did then, and what have you like learned?
Yeah. The violin is such a I mean every instrument is difficult. The violin, I think, is especially difficult because it's just you don't go walking around with your arms held up like this, and it seems pretty unnatural, I think. Anyway, so I think for the longest time, yeah, I only would approach things as like, oh, how do I hit the notes? Technically, how do I make it work? But one thing I really learned at the conservatory is my teachers would make me sing things all the time because really, as much as yes, the violin is difficult, I think the biggest thing I really learned how to do more is to always be singing the music inside my head, and that will create the most organic sound that will come out of my instrument. And then it won't, like, I mean, you can sing like twinkle, twinkle, little star and be really focused on like those notes, but it doesn't sound very good, right? But right, but if you're just singing it more naturally, like how non-robots sing it, like twinkle, twinkle, little star, then it's just going to be so much more enjoyable to listen to, and it's going to sound more like a piece and like a story. Not that Twinkle Twinkle is really like there's so much of a story behind it, but when it comes to like big concertos or sonatas or things like that, yeah, I think that's how I'm starting to approach it more, is really like, first, how does the whole line, like the whole phrase, that's what we would call most of these, like a piece, any piece of music, like from like Lana Del Rey to Tchaikovsky, is made up of phrases, right? And so I'm just figuring out how important the phrases are, which ones are the most important, and then within those phrases, which notes are the most important to make up the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to sing all of that in my head, even though there are no lyrics, and that's tricky, but that really makes the whole thing. I have more of an emotional connection than when I figure out like which lines are my favorite, which are the most important, what they are supposed to kind of mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. But
drawn out.
Going off of that, then when you take a like sections, or if you take a piece that you're presented that you're playing with, like say an orchestra, or if you're playing individually, like how do you balance what's more important, your own emotional interpretation, or trying to portray what you thought someone like Tchaikovsky was trying to portray through writing?
So that's always that's a tricky balance that you have to figure out, is how much of this, because you really you want to uphold what the composer wrote, and just out of respect for like this, it's his piece of music, as much as you then from there can have your interpretations. You do want to I think just like respect the composer. But that being said, then like also having strong opinions about, really, I think actually your opinions about how something should go should really stem from, well, what the composer first thought. Yeah. And then from there, you can make it your own, and that like then you bring yourself into it.
Okay. So there's a balance. It's not just one or the other.
No, for sure not. But I that's a really interesting question that there's so many answers to, and maybe one day I'll have a different answer. But I would say right now I think it's really most important to uphold the composer's wishes, especially as I've been working with modern day composers. Yeah. And sometimes I'll have my own opinions about how things should go, but really, it's the best to work with a composer who wants to also know what you think about their piece. Yeah. But I also I'm not a composer, and so I want to do the best that I can to bring out what they're thinking. Yeah. Because a lot of times they're not violinists. Yeah. And so I just want to help them convey what they're hearing in their head. Yeah.
But what happens when you run into like new music pieces or minimalist pieces like Terry Riley's In C or John Cage pieces where they try to take out the hierarchy of composer as being the one who is like above the performer and then the performer above the audience?
Right. I think that then it's really fun. Yeah. It's really cool. To do like chance music type of stuff where it's going to be different every time, and the composer does give the performer so much more. Yeah. Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
I haven't played as much chance music, I think.
Oh, okay.
At all. The little that I've played it's actually really difficult, because sometimes you just don't know, okay, like what is the point of this? Because it's like with Bach, it's very much clear like where he's going with things for the most part. And but like, and I think maybe that's because I'm kind of like a more I like things to kind of I'm still fun. But I like things to like have some sort of order or structure.
Yeah.
Like some sort of, you know?
Totally.
So it's harder to play something where it's like, this could go on for 20 minutes and we won't know. Maybe it'll go on for an hour, you know? Like, it's just more difficult for my personality type. So yeah, I guess I prefer
Okay. Do you think it's
music.
more personality type or the nature of the violin, since it's such a like melodic instrument? Even though there's like new music or whatever.
It's the nature of, or it's my personality, because there are so many other violinists, I'm sure, who are just all about it.
Yeah. I'm just saying like how violin has come to develop is very like a leading or orchestral instrument, while something like percussion is like, who knows? So I'm wondering if it had influence on you.
Maybe. I mean, there are a lot of stereotypes, as you know, about like person's personality matching their instruments. Like, we all want to be the cool cellist who's just like laid back.
No one wants to be the violist. Just kidding. Just kidding.
But not. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a beautiful instrument.
Yeah, in the right setting.
Oh dear.
No, I'm just kidding. It is a beautiful instrument. Yeah.
Anyways, do you have any last things you want to like shout out or explain?
Shout out to Eric for writing that lovely piece. He has an album coming out later in the fall of his other compositions. He wrote a string quartet. He wrote another piece that I played with him on the album for violin and piano. He has some solo piano stuff. Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah, look for Eric Tran. And any other things?
Do you have
Leanne, can we talk about our musical collaborations?
Sure. All right.
Well, okay. Yeah, I was just telling Leanne that, like, earlier as we were setting up, how, like, one of the ways we first bonded in, like, 7th grade was that she gave me the Yellow Card CD. And she's like, there's this electric violinist on it. You play violin, right? And I, like, had mainly only listened to classical music up until that point, like, begrudgingly, but just that's all my mom kind of, like, would listen to in the car as she, like, carted us around. And so I, like, pop in the Yellow Card CD, and I called Leanne, I'm like, listen, I can play this solo! I never felt so cool in my life.
Yellow Card was the bridge between classical music and indie music for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Who knew Yellow Card had such a big impact on the world?
My world. And then Leanne and I, we played, like, we had, like, a little collaboration in high school. We played some shows.
We did.
It was violin and a synthesizer.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't know.
And then Leanne wrote this piece called Fly Bike. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about Seattle one.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Well, we never ended up playing some of these pieces, but anyway, it's been a fruitful 12 years.
Yes.
Of feeding off of each other.
And it's great when artists collaborate from very seemingly different backgrounds.
Oh, very different.
Very different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that a good segue?
Or like ending it?
Oh no, like, yeah, so you should get involved too. Anyways, yeah, you should get involved too. so you can meet people like Annamarie.
Hit me up.
Yeah. Well, the point of laundry also is to have like a ton of people be able to see each other's work and be able to contact and create a community of very diverse backgrounds of music and cultures and race and gender to all be able to reach out to one another and hopefully collaborate or just hang out. So
Thanks
I don't
for
even know
having
what the
me.
camera's still on. To be honest. But yes, thank you for coming on and
Of
waking up
course.
early this morning for this
Anytime.
and walking up the stairs.
Yeah.